Welcome back. This afternoon, you're listening to the Todd Laborowitz Show, Real Estate Radio and Salem Broadcast Network, WRC 1260 AM. I am your host, Todd Laborowitz, and we are speaking now with Theresa Testoni. She is the appointed commissioner of the Governor's Office on Service and Volunteerism in the state of Maryland, which is an important position and currently works as an executive assistant for quality and patient safety at Adventist Healthcare. She's also a graduate from Frostburg State University and a Leadership Montgomery graduate. Theresa is a leader in the field of volunteerism and community relations, proven success in effective volunteer recruitment and program management, experience in fundraising, organizing, problem solving, project planning, consistently demonstrates skills in leadership, customer service, team building, and public speaking. That's a lot of good things to raise money. But you don't work with one specific person. You actually got appointed by the governor's office for service and volunteerism. And for our listeners, can you explain that a little bit in more detail as if we're like 10 years old?
Sure, Todd. Even if you're 11, I can do that. So the governor has an office on service and volunteerism, and this commission is under the auspices of the Office of Community Initiatives, which includes this commission and a number of ethnic partnership organizations, similar to what we do in Montgomery County with the Office of Community Partnership. And we are all about service. We actually have to exist by law because we receive AmeriCorps funding from the Corporation for National Community Service. So what we do, our main goal is to approve this funding. And so twice a year, we vote on how to allocate this funding. Are you familiar with AmeriCorps?
I've heard of it many years
ago.
Okay,
so AmeriCorps is essentially a domestic Peace Corps. So individuals will sign up for a year of service, and they get a whopping stipend of $13,000 and then an education grant, and they serve in their community for a year. So we have a project in Montgomery County called Project Change. It's been in existence for 13 years, and we have members serving at the YMCA Youth and Family Services, at Study Circles, Gandhi Brigade, George B. Thomas Learning Center, Study Circles. So it's an incredible way to give back, to build skills. It's all about leadership development and time management. And I don't know the percentage, but there's a huge percentage of AmeriCorps members who actually go off and work for that nonprofit or another nonprofit.
Okay, so to draw a picture, so you have this AmeriCorps.
Mm-hmm.
That's a federally funded organization that now goes to the states, which the governor basically has to appoint a commissioner.
Correct.
And then you're on a board with other commissioners.
Right. There are 20 of us who serve all over the state, everywhere from Salisbury to Western Maryland to Frederick. So we all meet a number of times a year, 5 times a year.
Do you get one of those government official badges like Elvis
I
did
do.
from the
It's
president?
very shiny, and it causes a lot of good attention.
Do you get out of speeding tickets?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I don't speed, nor do I run any of the red lights in Montgomery County.
So you're on a committee with other commissioners across the state of Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
and they have these commissioners in other states as well, like Virginia and D.C.
Yep, all 50 states.
And what is your core responsibility?
So, as I said, we vote on the funding, and then the other responsibility is to help promote volunteerism. So we do that in many ways. We serve on boards. One of the boards I serve on is the Corporate Volunteer Council of Montgomery County. So I work with nonprofits, corporations, service organizations such as the Girl Scouts, Rotary clubs. I'm out there connecting people. That's a key passion of mine, and it's part of being a commissioner. It's helping people to fundraise, to find volunteer opportunities. How do I serve on a board? How do I get involved in the community?
Perfect. Well, by the way, if you're just tuning in, I have with me Theresa Testoni, who is the Commissioner of the Governor's Office on Service and Volunteerism in the state of Maryland. I am your host, Todd Borowitz, and you are listening to Salem Broadcast Network, WRC 1260 AM. So we have a lot of nonprofits on the show. We like to have one per show. And everyone knows you. You're like completely. It's like so you're involved with all these organizations in the area. So when I need to have someone on the show, it's like I should just talk to you and say who's next.
That's probably true.
How did you get involved with becoming the commissioner?
So ever since I can remember, service and volunteerism, leadership, it's been a passion of mine. I mean, I can go way back to high school, where I've been picking up cans on the street before it was cool to do, and I was on my school government, my school newspaper. Then I went to Frostburg State University and again was involved in the school government and the activity planning board and a sorority. And I got connected, actually, after I graduated, I was involved in our alumni association. And I got connected to a woman, Sherry Krug, who ran the AmeriCorps program for Frostburg State University, which is part of the state portfolio of AmeriCorps programs. And she became my mentor. And she said, you're going to do two things. You're going to apply for Leadership Montgomery, and I'm going to nominate you to be a commissioner. And I said, yes, ma'am. And so she's actually a commissioner, too, so we serve together. So it's been an amazing experience, and it opens a lot of doors, and I love to network, and as I said, I love to connect people. So there's no shortage of events and nonprofits. Currently, we have 847 nonprofits registered with the Volunteer Center. That doesn't include others that might be out there that are not registered. So that's good news for our county and our state because you may or may not know to graduate from Montgomery County Public Schools, you need 75 hours of community service. So there's a very unique partnership with the Montgomery County Public Schools and the Volunteer Center where they worked hand in hand to make sure that there are meaningful approved projects. And the other link is that I serve on the Superintendent's Service Learning Committee. So it all works its way.
It's like a fine-tuned machine for volunteerism.
Pretty much. I'm not sure how I do it because, as you mentioned, I have a day job. I work for Adventist Healthcare, which I'm very proud of because they're certainly a great community partner. And I actually had the honor a couple of weeks ago to present them with a citation for Volunteer Week, and they have 577 volunteers year-round. And what's cool about that is you can actually equate the value of a volunteer to dollars. So when you can monetize the amount of money a volunteer saves you, I mean, it was over $1,200,000.
Amazing. Well, when you're commissioner, is it like the Supreme Court? Like someone... How do you? Is there a select number of commissioners, or like do they replace commissioners? Do they retire?
They do, and good news, bad news. I'm retiring at the end of the year, so I will have been a commissioner for 6.5 years. So you're allowed to be a commissioner for a term of 3 years, 2 times, and so I will have fulfilled my role and. Certainly, there'll be other ways for me to engage in the community. But it is a bipartisan commission, and so they have people from different parties, and they represent different interests, everything from education to AmeriCorps to nonprofit to an elected person.
Now, I understand that you just got back from a conference on volunteerism.
How did you know?
Yeah, told me, but I didn't forget. But what goes on over there?
So this was
how many people are there?
I believe there were close to 5,000 people, and it's the Conference on Service and Volunteerism, National Conference on Service and Volunteerism. It is sponsored by the Points of Light, and Hands-On Network, and it is just a conglomeration of people who care about service and making a difference in the world of corporate, nonprofit, AmeriCorps, national service.
So you got a lot of good information.
Well, I did, and it's an opportunity to be with people who care about the same things you care about.
Okay. Now, before we finish up, how do you help people find volunteer opportunities, and what organizations do you work with in the community? We just have a few.
Okay. So as you mentioned, I know a few nonprofits, and so I'm constantly meeting people, and they're looking for different ways to get involved. So what I try and do is figure out what is your passion. So do you want to help the animals? Do you want to help the environment? Do you want to help people learn English? And so then I just go ahead and connect them to all my friends.
Well, perfect. Theresa Testoni, who is Commissioner of the Governor's Office on Service and Volunteerism in the state of Maryland. And if you would like to get in touch with her, please call or text me at 301-467-8444. That number again is 301-467-8444. Or you can become a fan of the show at www.toddlaborowit.com. That website again is www.toddlaborowit.com. And we'd love to have your input. Well, coming up next, we have Mortgage Matters with yours truly, Todd Laborowit.
You don't go through life with a paralyzing fear every time you have a financial transaction. So why is applying for a mortgage so scary? At Topaz Mortgage with Todd Laborowit, it is about educating and empowering you to get from point A to point B. Todd provides you with his exact closing cost, best interest rate, then invites you to shop around. Plus, if you call with questions, Todd picks up with the answers. Learn more at whytopaz.com. They are industry experts that care. Topaz Mortgage, NMLS 131548, licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission, MC 5344, Washington, D.C., MLB 131548, Maryland 18330, Todd Laborowit, NMLS 131497.